Good morning, students. So, today we will discuss the different definitions of probabilities, or I can say the approaches used in probability. So, first is classical probability. Classical probability says if the total number of events in a sample space is finite and the events are mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. But it says कि if you have the mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive events, then the total number of trials are your small n, and the number of trials favorable to the occurrence of the particular event in which you are interested, right? So the probability of happening of the event is given by number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of possible outcomes. That means if I take number of favorable outcomes to be m and number of possible outcomes to be n, then the probability of happening of the event is m by n. For example, coin toss. If a coin is tossed, then what is sample space? Head and tail. Then the probability of head. So in this case, the number of possible outcomes favorable to head is only 1 and total number of trials are 2, 1 by 2. So probability of head is 1 by 2. Similarly, we have example of picking a card from pack of 52 cards. If I have 52 cards, as you know, in the 52 cards, 26 cards are red and 26 cards are black. And in 26 red cards, we have 13 diamond and 13 are heart. And in the black, we have 13 spade and 13 club. So in each of 13 card set, we have one ace, then 2 to 10 digit numbers, then one king, one queen, and one jack. So we have in each set we have same number. So we have total of 4 ace, 4 jack, 4 king, 4 queen. So in this case, we have total of 12 face cards. So jack, king and queen are called face cards. So total of 12 face cards. So if I say the probability of drawing a jack from pack of 52 cards. So what would the probability? Again, probability of drawing a jack from the Now total are 4 jacks and total cards are 52. So probability of drawing jack is 4/52. That means 1/30. See, in this case, we are just looking for the favorable number of outcomes for the event in which we have for which we have to find the probability and the total number of possible outcomes. So this approach is useful only when we have the mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive events, right? And second thing, this approach also needs the events to be equally likely. For example, in the coin toss, head and tail, equally likely events are those which have the same probability of occurrence. So here we have the same probability of occurrence of head and tail. Similarly, in the case of cards, 52 cards, each card has the same probability of occurrence 1/52. Okay. So since if if in the experiment we don't have the equally likely outcomes, then this approach may not be useful. So to overcome this problem, we have the another approach called statistical or empirical probability. So now come to the second definition. Statistical or empirical probability. So what is statistical or empirical probability? Statistical or empirical probability says the occurrence of event in a large number of trials, it is based on the assumption that a random experiment can be repeated large number of times under identical conditions, where trials are independent of each other. So the limiting value of ratio of the number of times the event happens to the number of trials when the number of trials become infinitely large. That gives the probability of the event. That means if I repeat the experiment the large number of times, for example, if I toss a coin 1,000 times, if I toss a coin 1,000 times and every time I noted head and tail. So after 1,000 time tossing, I noticed that there is 495 times head appears and 505 times tail appears. Right? So what will the probability of head? Probability of head will be 495 upon 1,000. That means the frequency of occurrence of the head divided by the total frequency. So that will be 0.495. So this is approximately 0.5. Not exactly, but it approaches 0.5. So relative frequency approach says if we repeat the experiment large number of times, then the probability of happening of the events when the trials becomes infinitely large is given by the number of trials in which the event happened divided by the total number of trials. Clear? So now what are the limitations for it? This approach again has some kind of limitations. See, this approach demands the experiment to be repeated under identical conditions. So it may happen, the condition may not be identical after some time. Second thing, it says n tend to infinity. So it may happen कि limit will not exist after so many trials, or may not attain the unique value. So then this approach cannot be useful. Now, third approach is subjective approach. So what is subjective probability? The subjective probability is the old or traditional method. It is a basis, basically deals with the probability of occurrence of event that are assigned by the individual on the basis of their personal judgment, experience, belief, and expertise. It is basically one's personal judgment about the occurrence of the event. So it gives the degree of confidence the one has in the occurrence of respective events. So again, it depends upon the experience, expertise of the person who is giving the judgment about the occurrence of the event. For example, if the person sees the cloud condition, then he says the rain may occur, or there is 50% chance that rain will occur, or 670% chance the rain will occur. So it again depends how accurately he reads the cloud conditions. Or I can say the weather reports given by the meteorological department about the rain or other things. That is also your subjective probability. So it is basically based on one's experience, expertise. So it may vary from person to person. So since this is there's no because this is based on experience, so we can't judge the someone's experience. So this approach is not in practice. Okay, so generally we use the in solving problems, axiomatic approach, which I discussed in the previous lecture, right? So these are the different approaches to probability. In the next video, I'll discuss with the laws of probability, addition laws and multiplicative laws, and some numerical problems. Thank you.